Alright, will you video me with doing the rest of it? Are you going to cleat it? Alright, come over here, Randy.
With their aluminum battens, the sails are fairly heavy, but with a 2-to-1 halyard and a little help from gravity, they are not too hard to raise. A lot of people seem to think that junk rig sails are easier to make than conventional sails. This is not true. There is actually more labor in making junk sails. However, because the sails are divided into small panels by all the rigid battens, junk sails can be made from less expensive fabric. And if a sail tears, the damage is limited to that panel. Junk rigs run a sheet to each batten, as you can see here. Many junks will have single sheets or one sheet to each batten attached to the end of the batten. We have double sheets or 2 sheets to each batten, one on each side of the sail, attached about 18 inches in from the end of the batten. Only the windward sheets are used unless you want to lock the sails on the center line, as you might do to reduce the boat's roll on a lumpy sea if the wind has died.
Yes, some!
We do have a retractable bowsprit that we can fly a small jib or drifter from for lighter winds. Many people ask, how high can a junk point? Will it go to weather? The answer for our boat is that yes, she will go to weather, but not as well as our cutter did. Terrapin will tack through 90 degrees on the compass and still foot well. Here we are sailing at 45 degrees apparent, in 15 knots of wind, doing 7 knots of boat speed. Many early Western versions of the junk rig were built with no camber in the sails. This is probably why they got a reputation for not being able to go to weather. If you look closely at this photo, you will see that some of our battens each have 2 hinges in them. This allows the battens to bend a few degrees and therefore develop about 10 degrees of camber. While our cutter was more weatherly, this 50-second clip highlights one of the reasons we love the junk rig. Here, you'll see Mike reef both sails in a 25-knot rainstorm in under a minute. To reef a junk sail, you first ease the halyard until as much sail as you want is reefed. Most of the time, the sail will lower on its own. If the wind is blowing 20 to 25 knots or above, you may have to pull the sail down a little. But it is never hard to pull, because as soon as you ease the halyard, the sheets also ease and the sail feathers, unless of course you're running dead downwind. After you've retied the halyard, you adjust the yard hauling parrel, a line used to control the yard. Then you adjust your sheet and you are reefed. Also, the junk rig is infinitely reefable. Raise or lower just as much sail as you want. Here, the mizzen has 4 panels reefed and the main has 1 panel reefed. And here, the mizzen has 5 panels reefed. Because Terrapin has freestanding masts, we can ease the sails out more than 90 degrees to the center line, for example when running wing and wing dead downwind. This makes the sails very stable with no fear of jibing. If the junk rig does jibe, it is not a concern. There is no heavy boom to worry about. We regularly jibe the sails even in 25 knots of wind. Thanks for coming aboard. We hope you enjoyed this short tour of our home.